Andrew Eborn.
I love being a friend of the show.
Well,
Come on.
You certainly are. So all the showbiz names there. Kate Moss was there this week, pulling all of the showbiz names out. But really, we're wanting to look at the law here and what's going on. The jury now have got to deliberate. So we've heard all that is going to be said. Where does this case take us?
Well, if Wagatha Christie is the greatest British drama since The Crown, then undoubtedly...
And that's between Colleen...
That's between Colleen and Vardy, and the decision will be coming in the next few days, and we'll talk about that. This has to be the Hollywood blockbuster, because, as you say, the case from Johnny Depp against Amber Heard, he is suing her for $50 million. It's to do with an opinion piece she wrote in December 2018 in The Washington Post, where she was basically saying she's the public figure representing domestic abuse. And she didn't mention Johnny by name at all. But what the case is basically because it was the timing of it. And Johnny sort of said, well, hang about, my whole career has been devastated as a result of it. And you can compare the two cases, because it's different in the US to what it is over here. It's a jury trial, so there are going to be 7 members of the jury have to decide who's telling the truth. Amber, as you said in your brilliant opening, is countersuing for $100 million because she turns around and says, hang on, you're calling me a liar and that's not fair, and so on and so forth. So what the jury has to decide was, first of all, who's telling the truth, because that's the biggest defence for defamation. They also need to... The case is being taken in Fairfax. And people say, well, why on earth is it in Fairfax? Why not in Hollywood, and so on and so forth? And the reason for that is the Washington Post servers are in Fairfax. So it raises all sorts of questions there. There was also another question you need to work out, is why is this case being heard again, in the sense? Isn't this a sense of déjà vu? And you're right. There was a case heard in the UK not so long ago. In fact, in Sunday, the 27th of April, 2018, executive editor of the News Group newspapers, a certain Dan Wootton. I don't know if you've heard of him. You might have heard of him. He had this wonderful headline called "Gone Potty, How Can J.K. Rowling Be Genuinely Happy Casting Wife-Beater Johnny Depp in a New Fantastic Beast Film?" So that led to a defamation action by Johnny against the newspaper group and also that sort of side.
But just quickly, what I'm interested in is what the jury have to decide, because there's a couple of points here, and I'm wondering, can anybody win? Could they both be losers? So what have the jury got to decide, and what will that mean to
Well, the first thing they have to decide, break it down, they have to decide, is it a defamatory statement? So being a wife-beater would be a defamatory statement. Amber has to say calling her a liar would be a defamatory statement. Yeah. They have to work out what is the damages as a result of that. But also, is there a defence? And the biggest defence in defamation is the truth. If you're telling the truth on that sort of basis, you can say. So they talk about the First Amendment. You're allowed to freedom of speech, but there are no freedom from consequences, and that's the key.
And what do you think?